What if I told you if you take this and turn it into this, you can make $35,589 in just 4 months? After watching this video, you'll know exactly how. The general plan is to buy it for $520, split and renovate for around $180, rent it for around $5,800 per month after all costs, and net ROI of 6.4. I'll be honest, I never thought I'll invest in Poland. This is me 1 year ago.
The food is so spicy during the strike.
Good. At this point, I had just sold my publishing business, which was generating over $5,000 to $6,000 every single month. There was some small problems, maybe big problems. I already had 3 businesses. 2 of them were print-on-demand businesses for t-shirts and stuff that got banned. My audiobooks account also got banned for basically no reason, and I didn't want that happening again. I had 90 to 120 days delay in payments from Amazon, and I couldn't wait for graceful Jeff Bezos to ban my account, and I would have lost over $120,000 of my own cash plus what the business is worth. Do you remember in video games there's always that save button that you miss, and how much does it hurt to have to start from scratch? I wanted to click save in real life, sell that business and start something new, but I wanted to have a good passive income. One of my goals is to be financially free, to take my sister with me to Japan. That's her favorite country. She loves anime and she draws anime characters, and I love sushi, so it's a win-win. But why Poland? In my opinion, for me personally, America would have been the best. I already speak English, it's my main language. In Poland, they speak okay English. Getting a green card is a very tedious and long process. As a European Union citizen, I can live in Poland without any problem. Financing in USA is probably the best in the world. You get 3% FHA loans, you put 3% down and you buy a house, and then you move and get the next one. You have 30 years fixed mortgage rates. In Georgia, my rate just went up by 2% because they're fixed at 1 year. So Polish financing is a pain in the blast zone. I don't understand the fans of the American diet. I prefer an Eastern diet and some pierogies. I had decided it's gonna be Poland. So here's the game plan. Buy, design, bid, demolish, utilities, new walls and paint, install kitchen, assemble, staging, last minute fixes, rent out and exit. At this point, the best thing for me to do would be to connect to other real estate investors and find a mentor. I had some networking events that I attended, and I did one of my own cocktail parties, and I was looking for someone who had some prior experience in Warsaw, who knew the rules, laws and regulations and what kind of deals can make the most money, because I had a certain budget and I wanted to know what's the best deal for that budget. And even though I had 2 years of prior experience and I've read tons of books and I've looked at all the podcasts, bigger podcasts, but still local knowledge beats everything. And Jason had 8+ years of experience, and he was very organized, which I prioritize in a mentor, someone who can communicate, because I'm that kind of organized, communicative person. I need someone just like that to teach me. But I still didn't know who he was and if he was gonna take my money and run to Hawaii. But I knew that my risk was only 40% upfront, and the rest 60% of the money would be when I had already rented out my apartment. So I was okay with that risk, and thinking about the potential upside, all the mistakes I was gonna avoid and local knowledge I was gonna gain, this was priceless. After my experience with him and after this deal, I'm telling you, I'm not doing another deal without a great mentor if I have that choice. After we had decided what property and what deal I'm gonna go look for, let the games begin. The deal hunt. I was looking at over 500 listings. I went to 15 properties all over Warsaw. Praga Południe, Wola, Mokotów, Żoliborz, and submitted 5 bids, and from those 1 got finally accepted, and here's a notary day. Amazing. Would you like to go back in time and watch the spicy details of this deal when I reserved it? Then click right here, watch that video and come back to this video and see how it actually turned out. With all the planning, all the preparation in place, how hard can it be, right? Bureaucrat. What is this? I'm stressed out of my mind. We have 1 hour left. Right after I closed and I got the keys, we got to work. This is kind of how it looked in the beginning. Old, typical Soviet place, kind of cute, kind of crazy colors. I got my architect to visit and we measured everything. I was aiming for a higher upper end of the market where I'm gonna get premium rents for a premium renovation. We're splitting this flat right down the middle, and it's gonna be 2 premium studios on each side. That's how we get a higher ROI. Once me and my architect agreed upon a blueprint, we could actually start the bidding process. I got renovation teams from Poland, from Ukraine, from Belarus. All of them bidded. Some of them would even take cash and not pay taxes, and I was still, you wouldn't believe it. Already here, I was 50% over my budget. My original budget, which I thought was quite high. I had just lost 2% ROI right after we got the renovation bid. You thought it's gonna be perfect, but you're wrong. Life didn't plan that for you. This deal just went from amazing coconut, sweet, smooth butter to potatis, which we call in Swedish. Potato. Now that we have our bids, it's time to start demolishing. I think for each project and every project, the most important thing is to have trust between the renovation team and the investor. That's my first priority. My renovation team, I saw them on site and I asked them to tell me when they're gonna start demolition, and I went to see the site. To develop more trust between me and the renovation team, I want to know that they are on site every day, working and not running away with my money. So every once in a while, without telling them when I'm going to the site, I actually went there and checked it. And I also showed them that I'm not afraid to get dirty, getting dirt and dust in my face and in my clothes. I think that shows your renovation team that you're down to earth, literally. And I even offered to help them finish the job faster by working myself for free. And of course, one of my other objectives was to learn as much as possible, and I'm really happy I did. To develop even more trust and teamwork between us, I was always ready to answer them. If there was any problems, if there was any changes, any decisions that need to be made, you need to be there, or your renovation manager, and I was the renovation manager, let's say. I was always on call if something had to change. I wanted this project to finish fast and with high quality. I don't want fixes in the future, as much as I can avoid, of course. For contractors, getting paid on time is really the biggest pain. As soon as I received the invoices and I checked everything is correct, I paid them and they appreciated that. And this is not going to be my last project. Always remember that. This is not going to be your last project. It wasn't even 2 to 3 days after we started renovating. The renovation team told me that the administration had come to the work site and told them to stop working. Could you imagine how that feels when you're a foreigner in a new country, you don't know all the laws and rules, and they're telling you you're doing this illegally? How would that make you feel? A voice inside of me was telling me, why me? Why this project? Why my first project in Poland? With each email and warning I got from the administration, I got more and more discouraged. And at some point I was even thinking, what am I doing all of this for? Going through all of this hassle, paying all this money to renovate so that they can close the doors or throw me out or somehow force me to sell. Maybe this business wasn't for me. I knew that the universe was testing me. I had to push through and I had to get this done. So I started calling all my friends, all the investors that I knew. I started searching on Google, internet, whatever. These are the people I met at networking events, mutual connections that I have. Everyone agreed on one thing. The administration didn't have the right to tell me what I can and cannot do inside my own flat. And one person who is really good with the law in Poland and when it comes to real estate law, it's Alex. Actually, I've done this video. It's his project in Świder, the Świder Villa, and he helped me understand that really there's nothing to be afraid of and no one can stop my renovation as long as it's done by the law. Although there was one little gray area. We have a bathroom. Behind this bathroom wall, it's a structural wall. And of course, you cannot remove a structural wall in an apartment building. So what I did, and Nico helped me on this one. Thank you, man. He gave me a contact of a structural engineer, Contractor in Polish. And we actually made this document. If ever PINB, Polish Chamber of Building Engineers, came to me, that the administration would call them and tell them, oh, this guy is doing something fishy over here, I would say, nope, look at this paper, man. I'm all good. And they would be very happy with that. I don't blame the administration too much because think about it. How would you feel if your office for the past 10 years looked like this? Once the old walls are gone, now it's time to actually put up the new infrastructure, electricity, piping, and all those utilities. Once the utilities are planned and prepared, now it's time to put up the new walls, plaster, and paint. As you know now, I used to have a publishing business. And in that publishing business, I used to make votes, which title to choose, which cover to choose for each book to make it just more relatable to the audience. For this apartment, we didn't know which color to choose for the wall. And I asked my architect, can we do a vote on your Instagram? And she has a lot of followers who are also architects. The left color is the winner. Thank you for all of your votes.
Thank you.
So that's how I rolled the dice. on things that are really not that important. People are not gonna make a huge deal out of them. Don't waste your time. And I would rather roll the dice and to delay the decision. Finally, when we're done with the walls and the painting, it's time to put in the new floor. We didn't have that much space to put all this IKEA stuff, like cabinets, fridges, the ovens. It basically took a whole room. So what we ended up doing, since it's 2 flats, we put all the IKEA stuff into 1 flat, finish the flooring, then remove all of that to this flat, and then finish the flooring there. So we could finish each apartment in stages. When the floors are done, now we can actually assemble our kitchen. By the way, already at this time when we were installing the kitchen, I already put the announcement out there for the world to see what flat we're preparing and to maybe rent out before it's even finished. And in that sense, we would have lower vacancy and it would be rented out first day that it was finished. So I go to the site to see how they install the kitchen. Right as we begin, imagine the guy is measuring, he's looking at it, he's saying, yeah, this is not gonna work. And I'm looking at it and we planned this with our architect. We measured every little millimeter and we didn't think about the pipes. The pipes were sticking out around 5 centimeters or 7 centimeters from the wall. Just so you know, you cannot have pipes behind built-in washing machines and built-in dishwashers. Depends on their size, but usually you cannot. So at this point, I didn't know what to do, but one thing I knew how to do. I had learned the IKEA kitchen planner by myself, took up my laptop, I redesigned it at the place at that second when they were trying to install the kitchen. I decided that if we put the washing machine where the dishwasher was supposed to be and just get rid of the dishwasher, that could solve the problem. And that's what we did. So I run back to IKEA designers. It's really valuable to know the right people, and Patrick knew exactly how these kitchens should be installed, exactly what stuff are needed. He was fast at answering my questions and actually explaining how the modules work together and how the doors connect, because this stuff, especially in a small kitchen, everything, every little millimeter matters. I was lucky. Thank you, Patrick. You really helped me that day. I took the paper with the orders. I took a taxi, went to the IKEA warehouse in Yankee. I bought the new stuff. I returned the dishwasher, went to the apartment, returned the dishwasher. So there was like 4 or 5 trips in the same day. We ended up fixing that little mistake by redesigning the kitchen in half an hour. As you know, these old Soviet flats, they all have gas pipes for the gas burner, the stove. From what I heard, this can be dangerous, and I had one experience in Georgia. In one of my flats, we had the gas stove. Safety function didn't work. You know, when you leave the gas on, it should turn off by itself when it's not burning. So I had a very bad experience when the tenant had left it on, and when they woke up in the morning, something smelled weird. They add something to the gas so it smells weird. People know that there's gas in the air. Otherwise, it doesn't smell anything. So if someone had turned on the light or something sparked, the whole house would have blown up. And I remember that experience. My body still to today gets goosebumps and chills. So I wanted to get rid of that and have induction plates. For this apartment, we had 4 kilowatts. I had papers from the administration and Stoen both said to me that we have 4 kilowatts. Basically, on full power, on a 2-plate induction plate is 3.7 kilowatts. So I knew if one person is cooking at full power, the other person does anything and the power should be out, right? Every electrician, and I asked on internet groups with electricians, is it enough with 4 kilowatts? Everyone said no. First, I thought, okay, this is not enough. I'll go to the administration, ask them to raise my power. And they said, it's not us, it's Stoen. So I went to the power operator and I asked them, can I raise the power? They said, you just need to sign this by the administration and we can raise it. Then I went to administration. They said, no, it's not possible. Our maximum is 5 kilowatt, but the operator said we can. At this point, I didn't know what to do really. Anyways, I knew that at some point we should be able to raise our power. I went to the gas office. I canceled my gas. And then later on, I was thinking there's a huge possibility that the administration is just not going to sign anything. From what it seems, they were trying to stop my renovation. They were trying to object at everything I was doing. And they were threatening me to cut my power and bring PINB to stop my work. I got really scared. So what if we can have one gas stove and then one normal stove? That can solve the problem. Take off a lot of the extra load on our system. I go to the gas office again, sign a new contract, and then I bring some new guys for the gas installation. One of them told me around 2,000 zloty for a new gas line. I didn't really trust this guy, and another guy whose contact I got from the gas office that he had left the card there. And he came there, old guy, talked a lot, talked about his kids and his grandma and how they love to travel to Italy. And in the end, he came up with a bid of 6,500 zloty, around $1,500 for a gas line to each apartment, and it would take a long time. And I was burning in my head because I couldn't do it. Too much money and too much time. So what I ended up doing was I went to my friend Daniel and I got 2 of his big saucepans, and I wanted to know, is it gonna work or is it not gonna work? So we got all the saucepans, 4 saucepans, all the induction turned on at one day. We did the test. And you know what? You ready? We have this turned on, that turned on. Now we should be over the limit. Let's see.
Okay.
How is it possible? This is impossible. I don't understand. We are at maximum on this. The water is boiling. On the other side, we have 3 tools. Right here. We have this running and we have the water boiling. I don't think we need gas. And we have this running also. And we have the fridge running. Oh, perfect. Woo! Yes. It worked. I talked to electricians and I checked everything online. It shouldn't be working, but it did. So this is my lesson. As Einstein says, in theory, practice and theory are the same. In practice, they're not. I'm really happy that I did the test myself, and I know on maximum power they're gonna be fine, and I don't need gas. I don't need to deal with the extra costs and extra hassle and not being able to sleep at night thinking that it's gonna blow up. With induction, that's not a risk. And imagine I went to the gas office again, cancelled it. Just think from their side. If someone was watching me come and go and cancel and get a new contract and cancel and get a new contract, they would probably think that I look like an alcoholic that has decided to quit, but he sees that beer and he's taking it out and he doesn't know, so he puts it back in, takes out, puts it back in, and can't decide if she should buy or not. That's how I looked in the gas office. I also decided not to change the old radiators because they're quite good. Everyone that I asked, they said the old ones are even better than the new ones. And that would have cost me 4,000 zloty, and I just painted them. They look amazing. They work as they should. Then I also didn't change the outside door, which saved me another 4,000 zloty. I just painted that too. Looks amazing, and it's a quite strong door. And why do stuff that doesn't add anything new or utility to the apartment? Man, let me tell you something. Those old doors, the Soviet doors made of steel, you can put dynamite in front of them and you're gonna blow the whole house up and the door is gonna be fine. These doors are magic. The extra vigilance in controlling costs and having everything organized actually saved me, and looking for new options, what to buy and what cheaper options there are for the materials, the couches, whatever. It saved me around $5,000, 25,000 zloty. In retrospect, if I have something else to do with my time that is higher priority, $5,000 really didn't make a huge difference in the ROI. And it took me basically full weeks of checking every little detail in the list of materials, like full-time work. And of course, the architect is not gonna care enough to do that. I'm not paying her that much to go through everything, but if I have something better to do, I'm not gonna go have a full-time job for 2 months and check options every day, all day, to save a little bit of money, right? Everything should be delivered on time. So even if I'm not going through every cost, I want to make sure that my architect or the person who is in charge of the orders, one shelf that was coming from Spain and some candles, that would have taken like 1.5, 2 months. I cannot wait for that. I would rather take something similar that is gonna come very soon, because I want to get this thing staged up, rented out as fast as possible. I don't want to be waiting for a special item to arrive. What am I doing? Kim Kardashian house designer thing? No. Once the kitchen is installed, we're almost done. We just need to get the furniture delivered to us and assemble them. I was waiting for the last delivery, which was all the furnitures from IKEA. I waited until 9 p.m. and I was sure it's gonna come, right? Because they gave me a time between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. I was like, what's happening? So in the end, I called their support and they said, oh, they came and you weren't there. What? How's that possible? And as you know, I had already put up the apartment for rent and I already had promised to rent it to them, to these Kazakhstan girls. I knew it's not going to be finished at 20th and they were basically begging me, can we move in faster? We'll sleep on the floor. And they were saying everything, but I just couldn't, knowing that this place is not livable. I had asked them to wait and I couldn't make them wait too much longer. And later on, we found out that, or the cars of the delivery company, it had broken down and they had missed our delivery. And we had just 2 days to finish everything. So this put so much stress on me, and lucky enough, we could get it at least on the same day that the girls were supposed to move in. And imagine, on that same day, I was supposed to have a relaxed time assembling stuff, and then on that Friday where they were supposed to move in, we would have some time to, you know, clean and put things together, stage it beautifully. But now everything was pushed into one day. I was really happy that the delivery actually came. So now the next problem was, how long is it gonna take to assemble? I tried to assemble a little drawer in the Kallax shelf system, and basically it took me 3 hours. This is not a complicated system. So if it takes me 3 hours to assemble that, I just can't imagine how long it's gonna take to assemble the daybed that has a lot of moving parts. I didn't have enough time to make errors. So I went on the IKEA website, I looked around if I could find someone who could professionally assemble with the right tools. And I did. So I hired a cleaner to come right after assembly, and I told the photographer, can you come a bit later? And he was really nice to me, and he actually came. His name is Mikolai. Mikolai actually gave me 3 extra hours or 2 extra hours, and we had time to assemble, clean, and the girls were actually waiting outside at the last hour, and I told them, please wait, we're just taking the last photos. So right after everything was finished, they got to move in, and they were really happy. I mean, their reaction was amazing. They said, oh, it's so big and it's so beautiful and it's so quiet, because they just came from a hostel. That's crazy, right? I would have never said that that place is big, but imagine, everything is relative. If you are used to living in a big house with a small family, then that's your normal. If you see this place, you're like, how could anybody ever live in a 23 square meter place? But If you come from a hostel, then no, this is amazing, right? They're still there, living today, happy, and I'm gonna do my best to keep them happy. I already had put up the other flat for rent also, and I had less stress because everything was already there, the delivery was already there, and now it was just about having the workers finish everything and assemble it, and the next person could move in. So I had already planned for the cleaner and for the same person come and assemble the furniture for me, and then the photographer, right, in order. I was eating breakfast the morning I woke up, where the assembly and the cleaner was already on the way to this apartment. I'm eating my, you know, my usual omelette with onions, and I love the little pepper and stuff, and I have a bit of turkey, smoked turkey on the side, you know, just eating, enjoying the every flavor. And I knew this project is gonna be finished soon and I can rent it out. And I get a text as usual in the morning, and I'm looking at it and I see a bed. The picture doesn't look right, and this picture is coming from the assembly guy. So I look closer and I'm like, oh my god. So basically the bed didn't fit into there was 2 wardrobes and the bed should fit between, as you see. When I saw this picture, I almost spit out all the omelette and onion to decorate this table like it's a smorgasbord, as we say in Swedish. I was so stressed now. Now I know that one bed doesn't fit, and I was thinking what to do. Am I gonna cut a hole in the wardrobe? That's not possible. There's drawers in there. What am I gonna do in this last minute? And it's Saturday. Take the car as soon as I can. I go to the apartment, and the assembly guy, he cannot be there too long. So I look for solutions. I text my architect, I text everyone. In the end, I look at my laptop and I was so stressed. I was so tense, and everyone was tense around me because they knew something bad is happening. Because I would have delayed the project by 2, 3, 4, 5 days because the guy, the photographer, wouldn't be there for another week. He was gonna go to a trip to Egypt with his family. So everything was gonna get delayed by 1.5 weeks basically. And I'm gonna lose money because I paid the cleaner, I paid the assembly guy. I look online and I find the exact same model, Sakstua, of this bed. It has a 20 centimeter shorter one. So instead of a queen 160 bed, 140 between a queen and a twin. I take the taxi again. I put all the stuff, cartons on top of the bed, the protection packagings and everything. This huge bed, we put it with Mark into the car. It's 10 a.m. now. Because I'm tense, Mark is also tense. So he knocks something over and it breaks. I'm so angry, but I'm not gonna say anything because as I learned in League of Legends, I was a gamer. If you get angry, your teammates get angry and everything gets messed up. And at some point, the cleaner was coming. I was sitting outside and checking the IKEA website for the options. To open the door, I basically left my laptop outside in the yard 1 minute, and I was thinking, because of one mistake, that wasn't even my mistake per se, the architect's mistake, it was no one's mistake. There was 2 centimeters too little between the wardrobe. Whose mistake is that? So because of that, now I'm making so many extra mistakes. Like if someone stole my laptop at that point, I would have had a heart attack. So I really tried to stay calm, and I took the taxi, went to IKEA, returned the stuff, and IKEA was really helpful. Ordered the new bed, I took it back. At this point, the assembler is already gone, so me and Mark were trying to put this thing together. And you know, sometimes IKEA stuff, they look easy, but they're not. You shouldn't try to do them. But in this case, it was quite easy, happily. Mikolai, our photographer, he was really nice. He gave me 2-3 extra hours, even though he needed to go home and pack with his wife and children for the trip the day after. So in the end, everything came together like a beautiful smooth orchestra of Beethoven. Everything just worked. Decisions were being made fast and people were helpful, and I love that. Time for staging, the part where you have to get creative, make your apartment look like it just came from a Disney movie.
4 months later.
Links to the old pictures, new pictures, videos, 3D walks, everything is down in the description below. The main reason we invest is to get a return on our money. But I have a personal belief that we have to make things a bit more beautiful, a bit more nice, a bit more encouraging for people to enjoy. And in my case, what I could have done was add these small little things to make the apartment nicer. Like a shoebox where the shoes wouldn't be messy and everywhere. Like adding a beautiful painting that Natalia made. This is her. And why should I get a copy-paste image from Google when I have someone who I think is a great painter and I personally know her and she's from Poland? That just feels to me like that extra touch of beauty to this apartment. And the girls love it. You know, it's important for us as investors or as managers to be at the apartment after it's even finished, because I think many of the extra fixes will actually come up by that time. They cut the bathroom plates wrong and there was this extra small space that just cost extra money and time, and there was water going in. We had to make sure that silicone was everywhere, and I made really sure silicone was literally in every little hole that there could be water, that could be exposed to water. These are the things that I did because I want to keep this apartment forever. And even if I sell it, I want to make sure that I'm selling an amazing asset. I even got guarantees for every appliance. For example, the vacuum cleaner, I bought extra guarantee for that. For the washing machine, I bought 5 years extra guarantee for it because I want to be worry-free that this apartment will give me money at least for 5 years without any extra problem. And this is what the future buyers will see, that they will have guarantees for everything. I even checked when they installed the kitchen cabinets, I checked that every door is it's aligned and there's not extra space between doors and kind of crooked. So these are the things that we need to check when the apartment is finished. That there's no leaks, test everything, turn on everything. That's my job as an investor. No one else is gonna care about it just as much as me and you do. Then I tested the door phone, and the door phone is kind of answering, but you cannot open it. So it means this needs to be fixed. We're gonna fix that. The mirror was broken a little bit, so I did a complaint on that, and we're getting a new mirror next week. I always need someone that will be the boots on the ground to see what's wrong and what's working and what's not working. So one of these fixes was I saw the key, and because it was like cheap keys, so basically the doors to both apartments, they could be opened with each other's keys, and we just had one. So I run to Leroy and I go looking for the lock, and I had no idea what kind of lock there should be. I didn't know there were like different types of doors and different sizes of locks, and they have different kind of materials, and I was getting confused. So I go to the staff and I talk, and of course they don't speak English. Co ja do cholery teraz mówię? Nie spodziewałeś się tego, prawda? Inwestujesz w Polsce? Zjemy naleśniki i porozmawiamy o twoich celach. Wyślij mi wiadomość. This is my tips to you. That's why you need to know the language of the country you're in. I knew enough Polish that day to get by, and the guy grudgingly helped me with the lock, and in the end we chose the right lock and it fit our door. I'm so happy that I don't feel like an alien in Poland anymore. I understand 50% and I'm still learning every night. Now it was time to rent it out. This girl calls me with a very polite and very feminine and nice voice. I ask her, what do you do? And she's like, I'm a medical university student. And as you know, designed this apartment to be perfect for a medical student because it's right there. It's a girly apartment. So I thought, okay, she loves the flat and she loves everything and I'm happy. And she's gonna stay 1.5 years, study her doctorate or something in that university. So after I had rented out the flats, I thought I'm gonna be fine because the plan was to wait 1 year and refinance. But man, do you ever get that feeling that you wake up in the morning and you want to pursue some greater goal in your life? I hope the answer is yes, because I do. I celebrated 2 days with my friends, ate some nice food, we played some golf, but then I got tireless. After 2-3 days of renting it, I'm gonna already put it up for sale just to see what happens. I put it up for sale and there was this woman who texted me, can you sell it for 19,000 per square meter? At that price, I made $35,589 in 4 months after renovating this. That's amazing. That's before taxes, of course, and this is unrealized gains. That's still a great deal of forced appreciation. Even though I'm not gonna sell it at that price because after waiting 1.5 years, I'm gonna get the same return from the rent. Refinancing is another exit for me, or I can just keep it forever. Sadly, in Poland, they just do loan to cost refinancing, not loan to value. I'm so jealous of you guys living in the US and the UK. Here, they will not give me a loan based upon the money the property is generating. They will give me a loan based upon how much it cost me to renovate it, which sucks. So I wish it was loan to value. So the materials and labor all together came around 270,000 zloty. The house was 520, but here are the rents, and the real ROI that I'm getting is around 7.5% net. Guys, that's amazing. That's not what I expected. That's 1% higher than I originally had planned. So through this whole roller coaster of a journey, I actually got more than I expected, not less. That's how funny life is. You never know what you're gonna get, and take it as it comes, do your best. And in this case, I did make my money. And the whole project took 122 days from start to fully rented out. 4 months is not that bad of a timeline. There are many renovations that are going out for years and years. But this project, I consider it successful. I see it as a journey for myself and I learned a lot of things. In the same way that you see I was diligent in this process, I'm gonna do the same for the next projects and for other people, other clients that I have, and they need me as their boots on the ground to choose the right project, to make the right investment, and to manage everything step by step. I gotta be honest though, even though it's sounds like I did everything, I did not. I'm thankful to each and every one of you guys that helped me. Nico, Alex, Adam, Martina, Jason, Jana, Zhenya, every one of you guys, you were amazing. Like, I could not do this without you, without your advice, without your help. So I'm really thankful to you, and I'm gonna try to give back as much as possible. And to other people who are watching this, I'm sharing these things for free so you can also learn from my mistakes. So I'm constantly looking for other good deals, and if I find one, I will send an email out to my email list. And if if you're not there already, join our Facebook group so you can connect with other investors in Warsaw just like me. If you also want to do your own projects and you just need someone to be the boots on the ground and with local knowledge, I have capacity for one more client right now. Send me an email and get in touch. These are the lessons that I share on YouTube. I hope you guys learn. Click that subscribe button if you're enjoying this content. Watch this other video if you want to get into more of the details of actually how the renovation was done. See you right there.